haven't been living under a rock, you will know that the Valorant off-season has had a bunch of different events going on. Events like the G-Loot Valorant Clash or the Rebel Homeground that happened here in the UK, which, by the way, I have a load of vlog footage from that I never ended up doing anything with because I spent December being like, you know, depresso. So if you guys still want to see that, let me know, or if the moment has passed, let me know as well. Regardless, this weekend we had the Ludwig x Tarek Invitational. And I'll be honest, this was the event that I was looking forward to the least of basically any of the off-season events. I thought it would be gimmicky, I thought it'd be show-matchy, and just not really add all that much to the competitive scene. But I was wrong in so many ways, and now I think the scene could really benefit from more events like this. Firstly, let's talk about the actual setup, because this was a classic Beyond the Summit style setup with couches and looseness and casualness and just an organic ability for talent and players alike to interact with one another. I'm a fan of the classic esports format, which is more like a big event and you have a caster's nest and a desk and it's a bit more formal. Of course, you need talent rapport and genuine friendships to make it good, but there's something so epic and legit about a proper esports broadcast. So I'm not one of those people who's like, yo, let's ditch those and replace it entirely with BTS style events, but I do think this is something that would just work so well bringing into more of these third-party events. What generally gets the most investment from an audience is when there's personalities on screen to which they can relate and attach. We usually talk about this from the perspective of player-driven content, but it's also true for on-air talent and basically anybody else who shows up on camera. And I've always had this theory, ever since my newbie YouTube days back in 2011 and just seeing this work really well, that what works the most for any on-camera content is that feeling of friendship groups. That really gets people going. Have any kind of friendship group sort of scenario or dynamic, people fucking love it. It's why teams with players who all have really good personalities are the ones that people like to follow. It's why people enjoy all of these streamer friendship groups where they all live in some house together. It's why the broadcasts where the talent all have genuine relationships are the ones that people enjoy the most. People like to feel a part of it. It makes them enjoy it more. And broadcast styles like this play so well into that. It's not that feeling of us and them. It's like, no, we're all equally as much a part of this, the viewer and those who are actually there. And I think that's really important in esports because it has to be a shared experience. Gaming is something that people share. When you look at something like a professional football player, you could be really good at football, but you're never gonna share a field with that guy. You could look at, I don't know, any sport. It's the same thing. You're never ever gonna play with that person, but gaming isn't the same thing. You can end up in a ladder game with any number of pros. Assuming you're good enough, you can share that game, you can share the same platform with those people. There's nothing secret or hidden about being good at a video game that is locked away from you if you're not already famous or a public figure. There's nothing behind the TV screen that is inherently different from your experience when you're doing it at home, and there's no reason why you can't share that experience with those people. That's what makes it very different to sports. So presenting esports as if it is like that doesn't always work. It's not always the right formula. Sometimes you do want to have that formula that means that there is way less of a divide. It's more of a blurred line between the person watching and the person doing. And I've been on broadcasts like this before, and it's a lot of fun as a talent. You just get to hang out with people, have a good time, interact with chat. Like, it's cool, it's fun. The ability to show your true personality and the love of the game is great. And especially when there aren't like rules to follow, you know, for both the players and the talent. Like, oh my God, you could say a swear word. I wouldn't replace the main league or international LANs with this style, but this style complements that circuit so well. It's just a personal way of appreciating the esport with the audience outside of those events. I'll be honest, I don't know anything about Ludwig or Tarek, but in the context of an esport I love, a community that I love, and these teams that I care about, it gives me, a fan, something to really enjoy, despite the fact that I don't really know the streamers who are running it. And it's also just really cool, like, seeing them get it. I obviously know Tarek is like a big part of the Valorant community as it is, but Ludwig's not, and seeing him take a genuine interest throughout the course of the event and try and learn things, that's really enjoyable. Like, that's a nice thing to see. And I'll be honest, I don't think I've ever given a single solitary fuck about a show match before, but I actually really enjoyed the show match in this event. I think because it blended so well with the rest of the event. Like, everybody's just hanging out and like some of the other people who are hanging out are now the ones playing. I really enjoyed that. I don't know anything about any of the content that any of those people make. And we also got some really good games that were interesting to watch. I think it's no surprise that the partnership teams weren't the ones to get to the grand finals. They got a lot more to lose. There's more that they want to hide. I know that Sentinel said that they'd only been scrimming for 7 days or something, but let's be real, that's more than they did cumulatively in the entire last season. So they're already on a good streak, even if they didn't win. It was fun that we got to see the new map. We got to see different ways that people were playing. I love these sorts of events that are well-timed around kind of patch changes, because it means that we can get some idea of how people are thinking about playing things. And while they may not give away all of their strats, as a fan, sometimes I just want to see how people who are better than me are going to be playing these like characters and maps and shit, because when I go into game, I have no fucking idea. It's also just fun to see these teams interact and play together, because it's been such a long time. There's been such a dearth of competition. I just want the competition. Anyway, basically, I think that this event was actually a really good event, and I'm really happy to be proven wrong about how much I thought I would enjoy it and how much I thought it would add to the scene. And it's been really nice to see so many other people think the same thing and feel the same way. And I am so passionate about like the development of personalities and relationships on camera, whether that's players or talent, whatever it may be. That's something I really love, and I think this event absolutely freaking nailed that. And I'm so happy to see the community super hyped over what happened this weekend. So I would love to hear you guys' thoughts on this event. Do you want more BTS style events to be happening? I'm sure I saw a whole discussion about how they like run at a massive loss, so I don't know if it's like super financially viable for like Ludwig, for example, to always do this, but I would just love to see more events of this nature be put on. It still feels like forever that we have to wait until VCT itself starts, but obviously Challenges has begun and the Brazil event isn't too far away now. So Valorant's on the horizon, baby. I'm pretty freaking stoked. Let me know what you guys think, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.